This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 16th day of December in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The long-awaited local content bill was tabled today in the National Assembly after the government completed consultations with some stakeholders. Describing the tabling of the bill as historic, the Minister of Natural Resources, Vikram Bharat, said the bill will provide for the implementation of local content obligations on companies engaged in petroleum operations or related activities in Guyana.
Mr. Speaker, indeed today is a historic day for Guyana and Guyanese. And I am proud, Mr. Speaker, to present to the National Assembly Local Content Bill 2021, Bill number 20 of 2021, a bill institute an act to provide for the implementation of local content obligations on persons engaged in the petroleum operations or related activities in the petroleum sector. To prioritize Guyanese nationals and Guyanese businesses in the procurement of goods and services for the enhancement of the value chain of the petroleum sector. To enable local capacity development, to provide for the investigation, supervision, coordination, monitoring, and evaluation of and participation in local content in Guyana. To promote competitiveness and encourage the creation of related industries that will sustain the social and economic development of Guyana, and for other related matters, and I move that the bill be read for the first time.
The Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Private Sector Commission had called on the government to ensure that the legislation was presented before the end of the year. 2 months ago, the Chamber of Commerce stated that while it is not against foreign investments, there must be a level playing field in the oil and gas sector, since many of its members had raised concerns about foreign contractors being employed to do the same thing that they are certified to do. Concerns were also raised by several unions that represent oil workers about the disparity in pay for Guyanese workers in the oil sector, who would receive half and in some cases less than half of the amount paid to their foreign counterparts who are doing the same jobs. When the local content legislation is passed, it will prioritize Guyanese nationals and Guyanese companies in the procurement of goods and services for the enhancement of the value chain of the petroleum sector and enable local capacity development. The bill as drafted will also provide for the investigation, supervision, coordination, monitoring, and evaluation of and participation in local content in Guyana, as well as to promote competitiveness and encourage the creation of related industries that will sustain the social and economic development of the country. The government had scrapped an earlier document created by the former APNU-AFC government for what it complained was the lack of initiatives for local participation in the sector. Just after taking office, the president established a local content panel to review policy initiatives on local content in the petroleum sector and provide guidance for the development of Guyana's local content policy and legislation. More news coming up in just a moment.
I'm feeling it! You know it? That Christmassy feeling? Friend, I'm ready for everything. All the decorations and lights. Bring on all the Christmas goodness. And I heard GTT is giving away millions in cash and prizes for the season. It just doesn't get any better. Multiple draws, multiple chances to win, live radio giveaways of cash, grocery vouchers, phone credit, and more. Free data, free calls, and free accessories with the purchase of every handset. Sign up, top up, pay any GTT bill or purchase a handset to get a chance to celebrate with GTT and MMG. Together we celebrate, together we win. GTT, together we rise.
The light on your face, no mask will hide.
Feel the joy burn deep inside.
Let's have a great Christmas this year.
You, me, and Republic Bank, my dear.
Whatever you need, light up your Christmas with Republic Bank and get a chance to win $825,000 in cash prizes. Plus, get a chance to give a family a Christmas hamper in your name. Log on to republicguyana.com for more details. Let's light up Christmas.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
have a business and want to reach more customers? Then sell on Fazaro.com. Sign up is easy and free. Take advantage of our site traffic, online payment processing, delivery service, and much more. Grow your business today. Fazaro, Guyana's premier e-commerce marketplace.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
Let GBTI make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Welcome back. Declaring that a 64-year-old People's National Congress is set to witness serious transition of new leaders after Saturday's Congress, the man who is tasked with overseeing the proceedings as Congress Chief Election Officer, Vincent Alexander, has pressed the green light for the Congress this Saturday. Flanked by the three candidates for party leader Joe Harmon, Aubrey Norton, and Dr. Richard Van West Charles, Mr. Alexander said the elections machinery has been established for Saturday and is ready to go.
I am therefore here today in the company of the aspirant leaders to report that the stage has been set for the Congress and most importantly, the election. The voters list has been prepared after much scrutiny by the stakeholders. The elections machinery has been established, oiled and activated with the concurrence of and under the oversight of all of the stakeholders, including the elders who gave of their wisdom in helping to guide the process to a successful and gratifying culmination.
The Congress, which was scheduled for last Saturday, was pushed back by a week over logistical and other matters that needed to be addressed. The Congress Chief Election Officer said all of those issues have been ironed out. There are a total of 100 candidates vying for various positions in the party, ranging from leader and chairperson to vice chairperson and treasurer to central executive members. The party is heading into its Congress and elections without the presence of the incumbent leader David Granger, who left the country earlier this week for follow-up medical attention in Cuba. Mr. Granger was diagnosed with cancer in 2018. On Saturday, the PNC Congress will see close to 3,000 delegates representing the party's membership from across the country, casting votes on behalf of those members.
The decisive voting population is in the vicinity of 3,000 delegates, ready to exercise their franchise from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, December 18th. With the expectation that the preliminary results will be available before praise and worship on Sunday, December 19th.
The Congress will be held in two parts, the business session, which starts from 9 o'clock in the morning, and then the elections. Mr. Alexander assured that the process will be transparent. He said the candidates and their teams will be kept abreast throughout the day as votes are being cast at the various party Congress houses across the country. The three candidates seeking the party leader position said they believe the Congress will send a clear message for the reuniting of the party and its return to its support base.
From this campaigning process, we have some other lessons which we have to look at as we go down the road in terms of strengthening the democratic culture. It has been an intense campaign. Most important is that I think for the younger comrades that the interaction with members becomes important and critical at all times.
The incumbent chairperson for the party, Valda Lawrence, announced today that she will not be contesting for any position in the party at this time. However, she stated that she will stay on as the chairperson of the Georgetown district of the PNC and also as the chairperson of the National Congress of Women, the women's arm of the party. Lawrence is expected to address the opening of the Congress, while General Secretary Amna Ali will also deliver her report. It is the first Congress being hosted by the PNC since it was booted from government as part of the APNU-AFC coalition last year. Back to the National Assembly right now. It got heated in the Assembly this morning as the government and the opposition clashed after it was revealed that another $2 billion was given out to the Guyana Sugar Corporation Gaisuco from the Consolidated Fund for what the government calls out-of-crop support. Of that, some $1.6 billion was given to Gaisuco to pay salaries. $286 million was received by the company to purchase fuel, while another $48 million was given to the Sugar Corporation for lubricants and $130 million to rent lorries. An additional $94 million was granted to Gaisuco for essential parts and materials, and $86 million for pension, among other costs. Opposition spokesperson on agriculture Kemraj Ramjatan, who flagged the allocation, questioned whether the government could not have foreseen the salary expenditure and cater for it in the national budget. He also questioned the urgency of the funds for salaries for Gaisuco, since the company received over $2 billion earlier this year in the national budget.
Wasn't the wages and salaries for workers something that you could have foreseen since the budget process? When did this urgency arise?
In response, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa said the allocation is annual support for Gaisuco out of crop. But Mr. Ramjatan maintained that the government needed to show that the allocation was urgent, as provided for in the Constitution. The Agriculture Minister revealed that the funds that were earlier allocated to Gaisuco had to be diverted due to the flood situation earlier this year. It was the first time that such a revelation was made.
We would have expended a large sum to ensure that we safeguard Gaisuco. The budget of Gaisuco would have been exhausted. That is why this has become an emergency to input back the cash into Gaisuco.
Mr. Ramjatan pointed out that the $1.6 billion being sought for wages is from the contingency fund, and he questioned whether there were new hiring made at Gaisuco to warrant the contingent.
The $1.62 billion for wages and salaries is a contingent. Did you employ more workers as a result since the budget?
The government used its majority to approve the additional funding for Gaisuco. Over the past several years, Gaisuco has been operating at a huge loss. Despite the problems plaguing the industry, billions of dollars in support continue to be poured into the industry. Under the last government, there was a move to scale down operations and some estates were closed. The new government has started moves to reopen those estates, even as the company continues to bleed the national treasury. And now let's tell you that Senior Minister responsible for Finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, tabled the National Resources Fund 2021 bill this morning to address different areas of management of the oil and other natural resources wealth of Guyana. The original Natural Resources Fund was passed in 2019, with the then opposition PPP absent from the National Assembly, since it came up for debate and passage after the no-confidence vote against the APNU-AFC government. In presenting the new Natural Resources Bill this morning, the Finance Minister said that the establishment of the fund is to manage the wealth of Guyana for present and future benefit of the people, for the sustainable development of the country, and for connected matters.
The Natural Resource Fund Bill 2021, Bill number 20 of 2021, a bill intituled An Act to Establish the Natural Resource Fund to manage the natural resource wealth of Guyana for the present and future benefit of the people and for the sustainable development of the country and for connected matters. And I move, sir, that the bill be read the first time.
The new bill will replace the one that was previously passed and become the Act. The new piece of legislation caters for the establishment of a board of directors, which will be responsible for reviewing and approving the policies of the fund and monitoring the fund's performance. The Bank of Guyana will be in charge of the operational management of the fund. Like the previously passed legislation, it also sets conditions for the withdrawal from the fund. The government will have to seek parliamentary approval for withdrawals from the fund, while there will be special systems in place for emergency withdrawals in times of emergency. The legislation also covers investments from the fund and how those investments will have to be done. The passage of the bill will also pave the way for the full activation of the Natural Resources Fund. Although the fund has been receiving hundreds of millions of dollars from the oil sector, it has not been activated. The PP civic government did not appear prepared to activate the fund under the existing legislation, which was passed by the former APNU-AFC government. Two ranks of the Guyana Defense Force and a businessman were today charged in a $745.5 million fuel theft scheme. The three appeared at the Diamond Magistrates Court this morning, and they were granted bail in the sum of $300,000 each. The fuel racket reportedly went on for about 5 years. The three accused were identified as GDF members, 35-year-old Terry Milling and 34-year-old Delon Wilson, and businessman 48-year-old Gangadeo Sridat. The court was told that between the 1st of January 2015 and the 30th of June 2020, the three men conspired with each other and persons unknown at the Guyana Terminal, Providence, East Bank de Marara, and managed to steal over $745.5 million in fuel that was the property of the Guyana Defense Force. It is alleged that over the 5-year period, the two GDF ranks collected the fuel on behalf of the GDF, but never delivered it. It was allegedly collected by the businessman who it is alleged paid the ranks for it. Fuel for the GDF is stored at the Guyana location. The fraud was uncovered during an internal audit after it was realized that while the fuel was removed from the storage facility, it was never delivered to the Defense Force. The three accused will return to court in January for the continuation of the matter. A 25-year-old man who was being held at the Benavawacting police station on the east coast of Demerara on suspicion of break-and-enter and larceny was found dead yesterday afternoon in the police station's lockups. The dead man's name has been given as Julian Harrison of Lebon Intention, East Coast, Demerara. A police report late last evening said he was found hanging in the lockups of the station. The man was arrested earlier yesterday and placed in the lockups as a probe was being conducted into allegations of break-and-enter and larceny. The Guyana Police Force in its statement did not offer any details on those investigations or complaints that led to the man's arrest, but claimed that at the time that he was found dead, he was the only person being held in the lockups. The police suspect that the man took his own life. A post-mortem examination is to be performed on the man's body, and an investigation has been launched into his death.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
I'm feeling it! You know it? That Christmassy feeling? Friend, I'm ready for everything. All the decorations and lights. Bring on all the Christmas goodness. And I heard GTT is giving away millions in cash and prizes for the season. It just doesn't get any better. Multiple draws, multiple chances to win, live radio giveaways of cash, grocery vouchers, phone credit, and more. free data, free calls, and free accessories with the purchase of every handset. Sign up, top up, pay any GTT bill or purchase a handset to get a chance to celebrate with GTT and MMG. Together we celebrate, together we win. GTT, together we rise.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up, fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, grim news in Trinidad and Tobago. With 32 COVID-19 deaths reported by the Ministry of Health yesterday, December 15 is now the deadliest day of the pandemic in Trinidad and Tobago. Previously, the highest number of deaths recorded in a single day was 31. That was recorded on the 25th of November. December has now overtaken May to become the third deadliest month of the pandemic in Trinidad and Tobago thus far. December's death toll now stands at 328 as of yesterday, surpassing May's total of 326. Only 2 months have seen more deaths reported. 352 deaths were reported in June and 462 deaths were recorded in November in Trinidad and Tobago. In its daily COVID-19 update yesterday, the Ministry of Health in Trinidad identified the 32 deceased patients as 15 elderly men, 8 elderly women, 3 middle-aged men, and 6 middle-aged women. The Trinidad Ministry of Health said 10 of the people each had only one of these conditions, and 6 of the persons had no known comorbidity. In Haiti, the remaining 12 missionaries of a group of 17 who were kidnapped by an armed gang earlier in October have been released. Christian Aid Ministries confirmed the news on its website. 5 of the hostages had already been released in recent weeks. The group, consisting of 16 Americans and 1 Canadian, including children, were abducted after they visited an orphanage in an area run by a powerful criminal gang. They were returning from that visit when the bus that they were traveling in was seized by gang members on a main road in the capital of Cantier, east of the capital of Port-au-Prince. The group, which comprised of missionaries and their families, included 5 men, 7 women, and 5 children. The adults are aged from 18 to 48 years old, while the children are all under 15 years old. When the group was first abducted on the 16th of October, the Washington Post reported that one of them had posted a WhatsApp message calling for help. The gang, known as 400 Mazowo, was demanding a ransom of $1 million for each of the 17 hostages. 2 people were freed in November and another 3 in early December, but their identities were not revealed. And finally tonight, international news. A record number of daily coronavirus cases have been reported across the UK for the second day running, with 88,376 new infections confirmed today. England's Chief Medical Officer Professor Chris Whitty said the Omicron variant could rise incredibly fast, but its peaks subside quickly due to boosters. There was also a record for top of vaccines, with 745,183 third or booster doses being given out yesterday. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has urged people to use caution in the face of the variant. But the Prime Minister has insisted that England was not being put into any lockdown. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.